This model kit review is of the Wellington Mark 10, and it's a 1/72nd scale model by Italeri, and it says it's got resin engine exhaust, so we'll have to look and see what that's about. There's the guy who painted the box art, Roberto Valentini, and dimensions there, and some details about the plane there. Let's see. We've got 6 different options here to build, so some great options depending on how you'd like to do your painting and where it comes from. So, number of sprues here. So first of all, let's have a look. So here are our resin exhausts. Well, that looks interesting. Very fine detail there. And here we have our glass, so they do have these weird triangular glass patterns on the side, and then our looks like part of the gunner's area here, some side windows, and then actually very nicely molded different areas for the gunners. Here's our main, I guess, cockpit windshield there. Okay, our next sprue here is the fuselage, fairly well molded. I don't like the way they did that, because it requires a fair amount of work to get that right. But pretty clean, not too bad. It requires a little bit of sanding, but we've got some nice surface detail here on the outside, and also some nice detail on the inside. Over here it looks like we have our engine cowls, and maybe some exhaust. We've got our spinners, maybe some exhaust parts there, and here we have our elevators, also some nice detail there. Got some nice engine detail, look at that. That's very nice and clean. We've got propellers, 4 of them, and that's interesting. We've got some of our guns there, and not sure what that's for, probably for the gunner. Here's some more propellers. That's interesting, there's a lot of propellers. And then some details here to build another engine, it looks like. And some exhaust parts. That's probably part of our control column there. Landing gear, another landing gear, more guns. More landing gear, it looks like. Very nicely detailed. Here we have more parts for the engine cowls. We've got our big wheels. Over here we've got our cockpit seat. It's weird, it's got a little bit of flashing. I haven't seen that pretty much anywhere else, but this sprue does have them. Got some part of our wheel well detail there, that's very nice. Our wheel well covers are nice, and that's probably part of the wheel and tire there. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's part of the gun. There's a bulkhead for inside the fuselage, and there's our instrument panel. And lastly we have our wings, and these are very nicely molded. You can see a lot of surface detail here, and then probably it might be part of our elevator as well, and that's the inside of the wheel well. Here are our decals. We've got some detail here, not a huge amount, but Those look like those are the common ones, and then the different markings depending on which version you're building. Let's have a look at our instructions. So here's some details about the bomber. We've got our parts listings here. Apparently there are lots of parts we're not going to be using, and I mean lots of parts. So that's fascinating. I wonder if you could build your own engine detail out of all of that. Even some of the glass parts we're not going to be using. So we start off here. Now there's the colors needed, and actually before we get down there, there's the details about the resin there. So we start off with the cockpit. Here's some details for the cockpit. We then build our gunner platforms, and that's all then mounted to the fuselage, and the fuselage is joined together. Next we put our wings together along with our wheel well bays, and our elevators are then molded together. We've got some engine detail there, and the engines are then mounted. There's the other wings all then mounted to the fuselage. And then next we've got our landing gear being put together, including our tail. And then we've got our, this is the other side. Okay, and then this shows you how to put the details in for the resin exhaust, as well as wheel well covers. Got all these accessories for the fuselage, and then our cockpit, as well as our propellers and spinners. And that's version F without the spinners, and then details there for the left engine. This is for the right engine. So these are the painting and decal guide options. So it shows you where the decals go. That's another version there. And here's another version. Looks like they're all pretty similar in terms of the common decals, at least. And this is the version from Poland. It flew in Poland. It was all during World War II. And let's see here. That is a white underside. And then here's a 5th version with black underside, flying at night, and the final 6th version also with black underside there for flying at night. So all in all, fairly nice model, reasonable decals, not a huge amount of detail, great wheel wells, cockpit's nice. There's just a lot of extra parts that you're not going to end up needing.